Today's news is about a group called the Cartel de los Soles. The United States says this group is a terrorist organization, but Venezuela says that is a ridiculous lie. It's a very serious political story, Peter.
Thank you, Anna. Welcome, everyone, to the Daily News English podcast. I'm Peter.
And I'm Anna. We're so happy you're here with us today.
Our goal is to help you learn English with interesting news stories from around the world. We break them down into small, easy parts so they're simple to understand.
That's right. Learning English can be fun, even with serious topics like this. We're here to guide you step by step. Let's start with today's top story about the Cartel de los Soles.
So, Anna, our main story today is about a group called the Cartel de los Soles. It's a Spanish name, and it means Cartel of the Suns.
That sounds very interesting, Peter. The U.S. has called this group something quite serious, haven't they?
They have. The United States government has officially called it a foreign terrorist organization.
Wow, a terrorist organization. That sounds like a very big accusation. What does that mean exactly?
Well, when the U.S. labels a group as a terrorist organization, it gives their police and military agencies more power.
More power to do what?
To target them and to try to stop them. It's a very serious step from the U.S. side.
I see. And the U.S. believes this group is led by some very important people, right?
Absolutely. They say Venezuela's president, Nicolás Maduro, and other senior people in his government are in charge of it.
Really? That's a huge claim. So they're saying the government itself is involved?
That's what the U.S. is saying. They've been putting a lot of pressure on Mr. Maduro's government lately.
Putting pressure? Like making things harder for them?
Exactly. They say his government isn't legitimate, especially after an election last year that many people said was unfair. This new label adds even more pressure.
But what about Venezuela? Do they agree with these claims?
Oh, not at all. Venezuela's government has strongly said these claims are ridiculous lies. They completely reject the idea.
Ridiculous lies. That's very strong language. So they say it's simply not true?
That's right. They've called it a new and ridiculous lie, and even an invention, meaning they think someone just made it up.
An invention. So they don't even believe the Cartel de los Soles exists?
Many in Venezuela's government say it doesn't exist at all. Diosdado Cabello, a high-ranking minister in Venezuela, has called it an invention for a long time.
That's quite a disagreement then. And what about other countries?
Even Gustavo Petro, the president of Colombia, which is Venezuela's neighbor, has said he doesn't believe the cartel exists.
Interesting. So Colombia agrees with Venezuela that it's not real?
Yes, he wrote online that it's just a fictional excuse to try and bring down governments that other countries don't like.
A fictional excuse. So, two different views completely, but the U.S. still insists it's real?
They do. The U.S. State Department is very firm. They say the Cartel de los Soles not only exists, but that it has made Venezuela's military and other important parts of its government dishonest.
So the U.S. says it's real and it's corrupted many parts of the government. That's a big problem if it's true.
It certainly is. Now, experts who study these kinds of groups say the real truth might be somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in between? So not totally real? Not totally fake?
Maybe not a formal group with a clear leader, but more like a system. The name Cartel de los Soles first appeared in the early 1990s.
How did it get that name? Cartel of the Suns.
It came from Venezuelan journalists. They used it to describe generals in the military who wore sun-shaped badges on their uniforms to show their rank.
Ah, so the Suns came from the generals' uniforms. That makes sense.
Exactly. At first, it was about one general, but soon the name was used for any Venezuelan officials who were accused of being involved in drug trafficking.
So it became a general term for corrupt officials, not just one specific group of people.
That's the idea. Experts say it's not like a normal drug cartel with a clear boss and a clear structure. Instead, it's more like a problem of widespread corruption.
A system of corruption, not a specific group. That's a good way to put it. How did this problem start or grow?
It grew from things happening in neighboring Colombia, which makes a lot of cocaine. When other big cartels were being stopped there, drug smugglers needed new ways to move their drugs.
And Venezuela became that new way?
Yes, this system became stronger when Hugo Chavez was president of Venezuela from 1999 to 2013.
Why did it get stronger under President Chavez?
He often challenged the United States and cut off military cooperation. So, U.S. drug enforcement agencies couldn't watch what was happening in Venezuela as closely.
Ah, so without the U.S. watching, some army officers felt free to do illegal business?
That's what experts say. Plus, Chavez was friendly with a group called FARC guerrillas in Colombia, who made money from selling cocaine.
So the FARC could move their drugs through Venezuela more easily?
Exactly. They found a safe place in Venezuela, and many government officials and police officers started helping them.
Wow, so they were working together to move drugs?
Yes, and according to a former U.S. agent, they began flooding the U.S. with hundreds of tons of cocaine. That's a massive amount.
That's a huge problem. And this continued after Chavez?
Yes, under the current president, Nicolás Maduro, Venezuela has faced big economic problems.
How does that connect to the Cartel de los Soles?
Well, experts believe that because security forces don't get paid well, the government might allow them to take bribes from drug traffickers. This keeps them loyal.
So, to keep people happy and loyal, the government lets them earn money illegally. That's a very difficult situation.
It certainly is. Now, the U.S. says these problems go all the way to the top.
To the very top? You mean President Maduro himself?
Yes, in 2020, the U.S. accused Maduro and many other high-ranking officials of working with drug groups to send cocaine to the United States.
And are there any reasons why the U.S. thinks this? Any proof?
Yes, some former high-ranking Venezuelan military officials who fell out with Maduro have given information to the U.S.
So people who used to be close to the government are now speaking out?
Exactly. For example, a former spy chief named Hugo Carvajal and another general named Cleaver Alcala both pleaded guilty in U.S. courts to drug trafficking charges.
They admitted they were involved? That sounds very serious.
Yes, they did. And a U.S. prosecutor even said Carvajal and others used cocaine as a weapon, flooding New York and other U.S. cities with poison.
That's a powerful statement. And what about Maduro and the others who are still in Venezuela?
The U.S. has offered big rewards for information that leads to their capture. $50 million for Maduro and $25 million for Diosdado Cabello.
$50 million. That's an enormous amount of money. It really shows how serious the U.S. is about this.
It does. But Venezuela's government still says it's all a ridiculous fabrication. They call it a vile lie to justify an illegitimate and illegal intervention against Venezuela.
So, Venezuela believes the U.S. is just making things up to have an excuse to interfere in their country. It's clear there are two very different stories here, with big consequences.
Now is a great time to pause and check out the vocabulary for this story.
Okay, Peter, let's learn some new words from this fascinating, if complex, story. Our first word is designated.
To designate something means to officially name it or call it something. Like when a principal designates a student as the school leader for the day.
Oh, I see. So the U.S. designated the Cartel de los Soles as a terrorist organization. They officially gave it that name.
Exactly. Our next word is allegations.
Allegations. What does that mean?
Allegations are claims that someone has done something wrong, but they haven't been proven true yet.
So, the U.S. made allegations that President Maduro leads this group. It's a claim, but not necessarily proven to everyone.
You've got it. Now, how about the word dismissed?
Dismissed. I hear that sometimes.
Yes, to dismiss something means to say it's not important or not true. To simply push it aside.
So, Venezuela dismissed the U.S. claims, meaning they said the claims were not true and not important.
Perfect. They didn't take them seriously. Our next word is a phrase. Ramping up pressure.
Ramping up pressure. That sounds like increasing something.
It does. It means to increase the force or difficulty on someone. Imagine you're trying to push a heavy box and you start ramping up the pressure to get it moving.
So, the U.S. is ramping up pressure on Venezuela, making things harder and harder for them.
That's right. It's like turning up the heat on a situation. Our next word is corrupted.
Corrupted. This word often has a negative feeling, right?
It does. When someone is corrupted, it means they've been made dishonest or bad, often by money or power.
So, if the Cartel de los Soles corrupted Venezuela's military, it means they made the military dishonest.
Exactly. They made them do bad things for personal gain. How about smuggling?
Smuggling. I think I know this one.
What do you think it means?
Is it like moving things illegally into or out of a country? Like secret routes?
You're absolutely right, Anna. Smuggling is moving goods secretly and illegally, often across borders to avoid taxes or laws.
So the cartel was smuggling cocaine from Colombia into Venezuela.
That's a great example. Finally, let's look at fabrication.
Fabrication. That's a good one.
A fabrication is something that has been made up or invented. It's not real or true.
Ah, so when Venezuela called the U.S. claims a ridiculous fabrication, they meant it was a completely made-up story.
Exactly. Not a shred of truth to it, in their opinion.
Okay, listeners, it's your turn. This story has a lot of strong opinions and disagreements.
We have the US saying one thing and Venezuela saying the complete opposite.
So, our question for you is, what did you find most surprising about this news story?
Was it the accusations against the president or Venezuela's strong denial?
Take a moment to think about it. You can even practice saying your answer out loud.
To quickly recap our story today, the United States has officially called a group known as the Cartel de los Soles a foreign terrorist organization.
The U.S. believes this group is led by Venezuela's President Nicolás Maduro and other top officials, and that they've been involved in drug trafficking.
But Venezuela's government completely rejects these claims, calling them ridiculous lies and fabrications. They say the group doesn't even exist.
It's a really complex story with big international disagreements. And it highlights how countries can have very different views on the same situation.
That's all for today's episode of the Daily News English podcast. We hope you enjoyed learning about this story and some new English vocabulary.
If you liked this episode, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's topic.
Your support helps us create more content to help you learn English.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everyone.